Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. We're talking to Darius Lockhart today. He's starting ASÉ Wrestling December 1st, Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's talk about it, man. How are you?
Doing all right, man. A little overwhelmed, but we try to take all things in stride. We were very excited and trying to work very diligently to bring you guys the best show we can this Friday.
Of course, man. I mean, I don't think anyone that's like starting Revolution's ever been like not stressed. Like you're doing it, you're taking the right steps that you need to start this company. I want to talk about this promotion, this company, ASÉ Wrestling. Is it a consistent wrestling show that's being provided? Is this like a 1 month thing, or what can we know about ASÉ Wrestling going into this first show?
If I tell you that, then there's no fun, right? Yeah, I like leaving people a little, without answers, a little mystique. You know what I mean? I think if you're familiar with my work, you probably have picked up on that. I like a little mystique. I like to not tell you guys everything, just so you have something to look forward to. So, will it be more? I'm seeing a lot of requests. A lot of people want it more, and I think that's what's the most important part. If y'all want more, then you might get it. So just keep making your voices heard and let people know that you want more. You want to see ASÉ, and we'll see what happens.
For sure. Where did like this idea come from to start up this like wrestling promotion? Because like I feel like that's just not something that just pops in your head overnight. You're like, well, let me just go ahead and just start up a whole company. So where did like the original thought come to your mind?
The original thoughts came in my mind when I realized that the industry leaders weren't always ahead of the curve. They were very behind mentally. I felt like, the industry, I love the industry and what it is, professional wrestling, but there's a lot of people who will say no to something or to someone because they just don't get it. And I think when the industry leaders all look like the same person, when they're all old white men, you're more likely to keep running into that same issue of people not getting it. So there needs to be someone at the top different that might be able to get people who aren't understood or taking a chance on otherwise elsewhere. So that's kind of where the idea came from. Just a little bit of taking power to your own hands and seeing a lot of friends who are amazing pro wrestlers just needed more platforming. And it's just like, hey, we all got ideas and we all keep saying, oh man, if they let us do it. And it's like, man, we'll let us do it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the concept of ASÉ. And I want to come in, make something for everybody. Everyone can enjoy, families and everyone. Yeah.
Would you call this like a black wrestling promotion, or is this more than just a black wrestling company?
I think to say that minimizes it and puts it in a box. I think we're a wrestling promotion. I wanted to come out and just say that ASÉ is, ASÉ. It is what it is. I try to, brand it and let you know that there's cultural influence, cultural impact, and it is what it is. It's from me, so naturally there's influence there, right? But I wanted I wanted to kind of be a Rorschach test, to be honest with you. If I say it's a wrestling show, then I book black wrestlers on it. A lot of people go, well, it's an all black show. Not necessarily. When it's New Japan, we don't say it's an all Japanese show. When it's CMLL, we don't say it's an all Mexican show. When we see it's, an all white show, it's called NXT UK. We don't call it, an all white show. So let's just let it be wrestling. And I just hired the people that I wanted to hire because I thought they were the best people for the job. And there comes there is a little bit, because a lot of us happen to be predominant. Like, honestly, I love to say I didn't even notice that I booked an all black card. I would love to say that. But there is a luxury that comes with a predominantly a black card such as this, because a lot of people are pinned with the burden of representation for everyone because they're only let one person in the door. But if we're all here, then you don't have to represent everyone because we're all here. You know what I mean? That's so it gets to be a little bit of the spectrum. You get to experience the spectrum of humanity, and now you get to see us beyond the skin tone. You get to see who we are as characters, what we add to the show, rather than just someone who feeds the demographic.
For sure. And like even looking at like the athletes that are like featured on this poster and whatnot. I see Kevin Knight, I see Darius Carter, I see Kiera Hogan, Jonathon Gresham, Trish Adora, Aja Kong, which is huge, just a legend. Yourself, you're on the poster. I mean, what can people expect like from this card? Like I feel like for people that maybe like know of the show but haven't looked at the card yet, what can they expect?
Well, like you just said, and it kind of feeds into the last question. You named all those people: Kevin Knight, Aja Kong, Kiera Hogan, Jonathon Gresham, Trish Adora, myself. These aren't just black wrestlers. These are the best in the industry. These are some of the best wrestlers in the world, honestly. And so to minimize it to that is different. It's just kind of like it makes it smaller, right? It's kind of whack to do that because these guys are incredible. The questioning of what we plan to see is just incredible professional wrestling, old classic professional wrestling. I'm from North Carolina, and I was late to fall in love with pro wrestling, but when I did, I fell in love with what I believe to be the spirit and soul and spine of professional wrestling, which is just, simplicity, man, finding love and amazing stories in the simple things. And that's what really kind of, I don't want to overthink and try to reinvent the wheel. I want to pay homage to the classic territory that is North Carolina to professional wrestling. It used to be a mecca for pro wrestling. I want to pay homage to that while just kind of paving the way to the future and just melding it into both. You know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of one or the other. Everyone either wants to destroy the wheel or just, keep it as is. And it's like, we got to do something in the middle. So I think ASÉ is something like that. I would hope that answers your question.
Oh, for sure. And like this card looks amazing. Obviously, this is a North Carolina-based show. You're a Charlotte guy. If you can name me the 5 best pro wrestlers from North Carolina, who would they be? All time. So that really, it's a lot. Including
me or no?
Including yourself, yeah, of course.
I think by the end of my journey, I'll rank top 5.
Oh,
but I think there's Ric Flair. You have to. I mean, he's problematic, but you can't erase a legacy. The work is the work, right? Ricky Steamboat's technically is he technically from North Carolina? I think he was, he calls it home for a little while.
Yeah, it's close.
But, I'd give it to Rick. I'd give it to Steamboat. I'd give it to, there's Arn and I'm not sure if Dusty counts or not. Dusty was just a guy here, I guess. He was really born in Texas, right? So they got him. So I would go Flair, Arn, Steamboat. It has to be North Carolina or just Charlotte?
Let's do North Carolina. I'm making it really broad.
Oh, whoa, my God. I'm about to shut. Can the Hardys count as one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And my personal bias, I'd put Cedric Alexander there, but I have to say that FTR has gone on such a run this past couple of years. It's kind of hard to ignore their work. So you know what? I'll since Steamboat is a maybe, we'll go Flair, FTR, the Hardys, and me. No, and Arn Anderson. I mean,
if you put yourself on there, that's totally okay. You're also on the poster. Are we going to see you wrestle maybe on ASÉ Wrestling?
At ASÉ Wrestling, I some people saw the graphic. I'm just going to address the future, what the future holds for Darius Lockhart in pro wrestling. It's been a very difficult, trying, but somewhat, blessed 3 years. I found a lot of blessings in the past 3 years. I've gone through a lot of hard things in the past 3 years, but they've all informed my decision to not only create ASÉ, but the decision that I will eventually announce at the show this Friday. It's one I've made peace with, and I hope everyone can accept. But it's really more of a verbal exchange. I'm going to be talking to everyone, and hopefully you guys let me know what you think back. But so no wrestling this time, but we're just going to have something to say.
For sure. I feel like there's always been a lot of very vocal Darius Lockhart fans. I'm being one of them as well. If Malcolm X was a professional wrestler, it would be Darius Lockhart. It's how I've always seen how you carried yourself in the wrestling industry. In your opinion, in your career so far, what's been one of your favorite matches?
Oh man, I would like to sit and think, because usually that's what I do. But as soon as you said that, my match with Shane Strickland comes up to mind. That was a real somewhat passing of the torch. I mean, he still got the torch, believe me or not. But I mean, in terms of someone extending their arm and showing someone to believe, letting someone know that they can believe in themselves. Now is the time to say, believe in your shit. Yeah, you're a student, but now is the time to start really believing yourself and push yourself. I think that match really stands out to me personally. Getting to have that in front of friends and family here in North Carolina primarily. People, there are certain matches that come to mind as well, though, that I just have natural chemistry with, that was, really touched me. I think the Lee Moriarty match is one thing everyone talks about. That's cool. There's a lot of people, I actually enjoyed working with, you know what? Maybe I won't put that person over. but Lee Moriarty deserves to get put over. And I enjoyed working with him very much. I think people want to see a rematch of that. And when you do something that it captures a moment, it really that sticks with you, both as a fan of pro wrestling, but as a wrestler, you kind of know when you have a moment with someone, it sticks with you. So those two matches kind of rank highly to me.
For sure. And like even looking at some of your stuff you've done on like kind of major stages and whatnot, you appeared on AEW, you appeared in NWA. I feel like a lot of people when they saw you appear in NWA are like, finally, like we see him on this platform, he's gonna go win that world title. What happened with NWA, if I could ask? Because I feel like there was a lot there that just didn't unfold, I guess.
Yeah. So to make it short, I'll try to give you guys the pins here. Yeah. Well, I tweeted what I tweeted. Everyone else tweeted what they tweeted. And I think the NWA social media team took notice, and it was getting more traction than some of the stuff that they were posting already about. So they said, hey, we got to talk to the office about this. We're interested. So they talked to the office, and eventually they asked me to come out to Nashville. I came out to Nashville to talk to them, and I walked away, and I well, not walked away, but I talked to Pat Kenny, and a couple of days later, Nick Aldis called me on the phone and told me they would love to work with me. They wanted me to be a linchpin of their new show they were launching. It's very hard to launch a new show. You need linchpins, you need people to build around, and they were looking for that. And I felt if I'm able to become someone, not only a new face here, but someone they can build around and someone that can make something that maybe it's not what I came here for, but if I can turn into a diamond, then it looks better on me. So I accepted the challenge, and I said, and I asked, and I was promised, well, not promised, but told that there was room for elevation. That, if I were to put on the size, because they like their heavyweights to be heavyweights. Hey, I was a little smaller at the time. I wasn't really eating a lot. I was really going through a depressive episode, a lot of grief from my father passing a few months. So I understood where they were coming from. They like their heavyweights to be heavyweights, but putting on size is something I wasn't not used to. I could do it. So I said, if we put on the size in the future, maybe let's talk about a little elevation of me doing what I came here to do. And they were receptive to it at first, at least Pat Kenny was. And we showed up for the tapings. I cut the NWA promo that people like to talk about to me a lot. And we talked right before it happened. That's the funny thing. I remember a few years ago, you and I did an interview, right? A couple of days before. But I did the promo. It went viral. It went good. I thought from all the DMs and legends walking up to me and putting it over, I thought, well, we got something here. Now it's undeniable. But they tried to deny it. Basically, I was asking what direction we would go in, and there was no really good answers. By the time we got to the pay-per-view, I asked for a sit down with Billy Corgan, and he let me know that the story that I was there to tell, that everyone wanted to see me tell, and everyone was interested in tuning into NWA to hear and watch, was not the story he wanted to tell. He just told me, he said, I'm not interested in that story. He saw me as a tag guy at best. He felt that I was undersized, and he wanted to. He said he can't let the fans book the show. He books the show, and that was the answer I got. And I told him, I looked him in the face, and I said, "Okay, good talk." And I knew when I walked away that that was going to be my last weekend trying to work with him, because I wasn't going to spend time sitting there trying to change Billy Corgan's mind. I had better things to do with my time. So it was just like, if you don't want to make money, that's it. That's yes, your thing. But respectfully, you can part ways amicably. And that's what I chose to do. I'm not above walking away from something that doesn't serve me. And it was just kind of my personal choice to just, I'm not going to sit here and spin wheels trying to prove something wrong to you. So let's just move on.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, tag guy. No.
Well, everyone's got their opinion. Billy has his. Maybe Tyrus made a better world champion than I would have. Who's to say? But, we move on.
That's a sentence.
At the end of the day, I'm not crying that I didn't get to make Billy Corgan $1 million. We can do that here, and we can do it in our own pocket. So let's move on. No, it's all love.
Well, will ASÉ Wrestling have like its own championships? Like, are we going to see ASÉ World Champion or Tag Champion, etc.?
That's if there's more than one show. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
No. If we continue, this is something that's prosperous and moves on and big and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We definitely would see that. I think people need something to fight for. That's what pro wrestling's about, right? Sport. It's about desire. It's about attaining something, triumph. So they need something to fight for. We don't want to just hit each other in the face for no reason. We'd be very dumb if we did that. I want incentive. So I think, but until you see a championship at ASÉ, the Pan-African title is something we would like to uphold. And that's why we have Shug D on our first show, the Pan-African champion, the new Pan-African world champion. I'm very proud of my friend there. And we hope to platform him as well as that championship as if we continue to move on. We would love to have that as our honorary world title until further notice, until there is an ASÉ champion that we would be able to be crowning. So yeah,
certainly.
Mm.
When it comes to like starting a wrestling company, I feel like that's probably like the hardest thing in the world. I feel like every time I talk to someone that's starting up a new company, it just looks stressful. It just is what it is. What does it take to start a wrestling promotion?
It takes a lot of money, a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of focus, but also it just takes a lot of love, because you have to love doing this. There is no one who would do this job who hates this job. And as soon as you started to hate it, like you could say, I never want to do this again. I think that's everyone who's promoted told me there will be times where you do not want to do this anymore. There'll be times where you say, why am I doing this? I'm never doing this again. I was pretty good about not having that moment until this week. But now that we're here, I think that it's very apparent to me you have to lose the love in order to really walk away from this, or lose the money or the funds or whatever. It's difficult, but I think if you move with the right intention, if you put whatever is bigger than money to you first, then you're always going to win, you know.
Yeah, man. And it's going to be held at the Grady Cole Event Center. What's like the crowd looking like? 'Cause I feel like everyone has like an image in their mind of how many people they want to see in the stadium or in the
Mhm.
arena. Are you seeing that number that's going to be there on Friday?
I'm seeing that number. It's getting up there. It's getting up there. We're getting a lot of pay-per-view buys, pay-per-view buys
You got it.
from around the world. We got people from England watching, got people from stuff watching. But with Charlotte, there seems to be very much the sense of a lot of walk-ups, man. Lute's been promoting his ass off for us. I've been promoting my ass off for us. We gave a bunch of tickets to the school district CMS. So I think we'll see a lot of influx in terms of people coming. There's so much interest, so much buzz around the city. I randomly walk into people and they go, you're the wrestling guy. I'll be there. You're the wrestling guy. I'll be there. I'll do that. And I'm like, okay, well, we're getting somewhere. Maybe Eventbrite don't show it all the time, but it's creeping up. And regardless, I think it'll be an incredible vibe. The people that will be in the building, regardless of how many, the energy is just I think y'all's energy is gonna elevate it to where it could be a billion or one person. The people who are joining us, I think they're excited enough to carry that show. So
I'm a big fan of like production. And what's like the stage setup going to look like?
oh man, that's the thing, Richard. We just picked up the stage production today. I'm trying to think of how much I want to give you. I know we're a couple days out, right? I will say that we have an incredible production team. The Enjoy Wrestling team will be joining us to film it, so it's going to look sleek. We do have a Tron. We have a big Tron for you guys. We got some cool stuff. We have to have space for a DJ. We have a commentary booth. Everything like that. So it will look sleek. For this price tag, better. But but it's gonna look good, and I think it'll be an ode to what people recognize as pro wrestling, what makes them feel good, and that's what's important.
I feel like there's a lot of like wrestlers that once like this card was announced, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to be on this card, and you talk to Darius about it. But I know not everyone can make it onto the show because there's certain locked certain matches that you need to have in order for the event to go the certain time that you need. Well, what do you say to like wrestlers that like want to be on the show, but it's like maybe not this time and maybe next time? Like, what's your response to people that want to be a part of it, want to be there, but it just might not work the first time?
Man, my response is I like to make it make sense. Everyone on this show who's on this show, I have something for them. You know what I mean? There's a reason that they're there. And I don't want to bring anyone on the show if there's not a reason you're here. And I say that not to be like you're a nobody or anything like that. Everyone's a somebody. There are people that I have in my head to use a year from now if we make it that far. I think, there's a core. I'm not gonna, spoil anything. But there's people I'm thinking ahead so far that they don't even know that the blessing's coming to them yet. But I would like to ensure them that I don't like to use people as just bodies. That's just not how I feel. I don't like being put in a scramble with no intention behind it. I don't like, being put in a pre-show match throwaway. It's bumps you don't have to take, brother. Protect your bodies and respect yourself enough to know that when you're on an ASÉ show, this is Darius Lockhart, this is ASÉ Wrestling investing in you and wanting to tell a story with you or use you to help tell a narrative that ultimately will serve you bigger in the end than if I just use you as a body. So I want people to just know that it's if I'm saying no, it's more out of a place of respect than a place of just disrespect. It's more of I don't have anything for you right now, or I have the right time for you and it's not right now. You know what I mean? So it's one of those.
Definitely, definitely. There's so many like amazing talents on this show. Like some are signed to like major companies, some are still on the independent scene. If you could pick one or two guys, there's like, I think this guy, this girl will definitely be on television within the next year. Who would they be?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna upset a lot of people. There was a couple people that were gonna be on this show that already got signed recently, and
Can I ask who?
I think you can put it together, but I think they're gone, and I can't touch them now. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But so you never know, because I had this idea in 2019 and those guys were going to be on the show, and as soon as I get the time to put the show together, 5 years later you're gone. Like right as I do it, it's like, I had your mom when you were 16, kid, now you're gone. But I'm happy. And I think overall, Kevin Knight is lightning in a bottle. Who knows, say how much time I have access to my brother. Gresham is luckily on the contract where we can always, kind of bring him down and everything like that. He has a lot of freedom. So I'm blessed with that. But his talent, you never know when he could be inaccessible or not. He's one of the best I've ever seen. Charity King, only a matter of time. This is going to be a breakout moment for her with Kiera Hogan. I think there's a lot of people on the show with deals, but I think I have plans hopefully for Yaya in the 8-man tag. But if they go right, I won't get to finish him. He's one of the most talented people I've ever seen in my life, honestly, truly. So it won't take long for people to snatch him up. And so, that's just reality. But that's what we're here for. We're here to help people. We're here to help everyone get to where they want to get. So, that's an inevitable thing. But yeah, those are some names that just automatically come to mind. I think everyone on this page, on the show, is a package. Either a diamond ready to happen and people just don't want to see it because they're not used to seeing it in this package, or is only like TikTok. I think this is a show full of stars. You
say you had some names that were going to be on the show but got signed. We can confirm that was CM Punk, right?
Yeah. It was me. It was me and Punk. It was me and Punk in the main. No, honestly, it's funny you say that. I've been wondering when this was ever going to come up organically. When I was doing AEW, they were courting me. They were really interested in working with me and bringing me on. And in order to I wanted to walk in the door with a little bit of a example of what I could do for them. Like, I'm not just a body. I could do this. I cut a whole promo on CM Punk, and it's just sitting in a vault somewhere. And it's ready for a feud. And I think I won't ever see the light of day, probably. But I think it's one of my best promos I've ever cut. And I laid into him. But, hey, if there's ever happened, that's a match that we'll get ASÉ one day, maybe. Who knows?
Did you ever get a chance to meet Punk when you were working with AEW?
Yeah. We got to meet. We funny. It's his first few months there was my time there. I think I got there maybe a couple weeks after he debuted. So we sat there by the ring and talked horror film and how politics inform horror. And we had a good little conversation. He's very, very smart man. Good energy. What I got. And I think a match made in heaven that maybe we might never get, but I think it'd be cool. But he was a good man. I enjoyed my time.
You already know the internet's already blowing that up now. You talk about CM Punk, that's huge.
I know. It's a mouth.
It's already in the title of the video.
Darius calls out CM Punk, right? Oh God. I might post a promo and see what happens, right?
You should. At this point, you might as well go for it.
We'll see. If there's a demand for it, I'll post it. People talk about it, I'll post it. But we'll see.
Certainly. Last thing I want to talk about, what's now your goals in wrestling? Obviously, it's kind of undecided of what your wrestling future is until ASÉ Wrestling. Is it to continue to promote shows? Is it to maybe get back in the ring? What's your goals in wrestling?
My goal in wrestling is, I hate to give you the generic answer of leaving it better than when I found it, but that's always really the answer, bro. This whole project is something to not only help myself, because it's just something I dream about as just a man wanting to create. I'm a creative at the end of the day. I think even more so than an athlete. I think I'm a creative first. So being able to create and have fun with creation. I think, that's my answer. To be able to create and have fun while I'm creating. Wrestling can get you so jaded as a human being and make you forget why you do this. You're beating your body up, and maybe you're going through something personal on the outside. Maybe the stuff in wrestling is the personal stuff you're going through. But I think the year or two I took off, yes, there were injuries I needed to heal, but mainly the biggest one was my mindset. And I just needed to heal emotionally. And that work's never done. But I think taking that step back a little bit made me realize what I want to do in this space. And that's just enjoy myself. I wasn't doing that. So I think my goal in professional wrestling, if I'm going to be involved in professional wrestling, I damn sure better be enjoying it. And if I'm not, then I will move on. That's just how I feel about it. That's why I did last time. It's what I'll do every time, because I love myself more than I love pro wrestling. I do love pro wrestling, but I love myself more than pro wrestling. That's just the truth.
As you should, as you should. Final question. If I'm like a kid that is like contemplating going to ASÉ Wrestling this Friday, or I'm someone international that's contemplating like buying the show, how would you convince me in order to make sure that I either buy the show or go to the show?
It's everything you love about wrestling. It's everything you don't know about wrestling that you love too. I mean, when I say that, I mean, you know, you're gonna see some restraint on the card. You're not going to see everything thrown at you just because we're not giving you a 4-hour wrestling show. We're respecting your time. We're respecting your dollar. We're giving you something that's worth it. We're leaving you wanting more. We're going to leave you wanting more. That's what I feel. But ultimately, you're going to see a clash of culture that maybe you haven't seen the pro wrestling show. That audience is maybe an audience you haven't seen. Maybe there's a vibe you haven't seen. I think the DJ is going to add an element. Lute's going to add an element. You never know who's going to pop up in the building. We have some special guests on board on hand. There's plenty of reasons to check out, but the number one reason is probably history is going to be made. You know what I mean? This is just a really cool moment in time, and I don't take it for granted one bit. You're going to see a lot of cool wrestling, but you're also just going to see a lot of cool, impactful moments, and that's what's important.
Well, I'm excited for this show. I'm making a drive down there. It's gonna be 7 hours, and I'm looking forward to it.
Man,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I didn't love you already enough, man, I love you even more now.
Appreciate that, man.
It's
gonna be a great night. It's gonna be a great night. Darius, where can they find you on social media that are already following you, and follow ASÉ Wrestling as well?
Yeah, you can find me at DLockPro on Twitter, at Darius Lockhart on everything else. For ASÉ, it's at ASÉ Wrestling at everything. You know what I mean? ASÉ does do a lot more than wrestling, and will continue to do a lot more than wrestling, but ASÉ Wrestling is the easiest place to find us. So at ASÉ Wrestling, if you want to go find more out, ASÉWrestling.com and DariusLockhart.com as well. You can attune to those things. So yeah, that's all. Amazing. And please, on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube. It helps us monetize it and create more content for you guys. I keep saying original content. We've dropped a little bit of things, but there's a lot more in store. You guys have no idea. We're sitting on a vault full of stuff. And if you don't want to miss it, subscribe to the channel. And also, once you subscribe and get us to our goal of 1,200, we can give out this PlayStation 5. We're giving away a free PS5. I'm tired of looking at it. It's over here to the corner. I want to get rid of it. I'm not playing it. I get, little jitters every day to do it, but I want to give it to one of y'all. So please subscribe so we can get to 1,200 and we can give this thing to one of you guys. One of you guys deserve it. Let's go have some fun together, man.
Amazing. Darius Lockhart, thank you so much for your time today. Guys, make sure to follow ASÉ Wrestling. It's going to be happening on Friday, December 1st. Grady Cole Event Center, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm excited. You should be excited. Absolutely. Let's all go to the show. It's going to be great.
Go to the show.